Hello, my name is Stephen Redman and welcome to another episode of Pastor's Library. This is the channel where we talk about everything to do with theology books, be they books on a reading list for your seminary course, your bachelor's or master's degrees in theology, or whether they're just books you've seen in a Christian bookshop or indeed on your vicar's shelf. These are all books that are relevant to the Christian walk and to those who read academically. If you like what we have to say today, please give us a thumbs up on YouTube and remember to click subscribe and to click on the bell, and that way you'll know when we release another episode of Pastor's Library. So today I want to do another one in our series of favourite commentaries. And today the book I've chosen is the book of Revelation. Revelation's a book which when I was 20, I knew everything about it. I fully understood it, and I could run rings round Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons when they called at my door. By the time I was 30, I realised I didn't know everything about the book of Revelation. By the time I was 40, I realised I hadn't got a clue about the book of Revelation. By the time I was 50, I felt I had radically relearnt what the book of Revelation was and what it was saying to me. And these days I teach a 15-hour series on the book of Revelation on demand. And I am pleased that I am old enough now to realise that I know nothing. So what I would say to you today is that I'm going to come to it in a minute, the three top biblical commentaries that I would recommend to you. But firstly, I want to talk about a few outlying books which I think are really relevant to a good understanding of the book of Revelation. Now, the first one is something that many of you may not consider as a commentary. And some of you will not like the name of the author. The author is Eugene Peterson, author of The Message. But he wrote this book, Reversed Thunder, which, whatever you want to call it, it really is a commentary. And this book is absolutely breathtaking in its scope. Here you see Peterson at his poetic best. You see him understanding the great concepts of the scripture that he's gone on to prove himself as being having the mastery of them. This is a book which is quite easy to come to terms with, whereas it's got good end notes, and it's quite clear some of the areas he's drawn from. This is a book which can be read by anyone who has enough reading age to read a paperback. I would suggest to you it's a really good book. And if you're wanting a starter commentary that will take you to some depth, I would say that's a very good choice. So Reversed Thunder by Eugene Peterson. Now the next one, many of you are going to say, never heard of it. Who is he? This is the commentary on the Revelation of St. John the Divine by Austin Farrer. Austin Farrer was a profound Anglican theologian in the 50s and 60s. And I have to say to you, I stumbled on this, but it absolutely opened my mind to certain aspects. The thing that sticks in my mind about Austin Farrer is his understanding of astronomy and astrology in the context of Revelation. He is able to draw out things which I'll probably go so far as to say I haven't seen anywhere else about the book of Revelation based on the stars that are mentioned. And this is a well worth reading book. Now, I know that many of you will be on courses that demand that you only really refer to books that have been written in the last 25 to 30 years. And this book, of course, is 1964, which rather knocks it out there. But for your own study, I really recommend it. It's a very, very worthwhile commentary. Something that is very recent and something that you can definitely quote in any piece of work you're writing on the book of Revelation is this one by Michael Gorman. Now, Michael Gorman, I have found to be a very reliable author who writes very responsibly and very helpfully, but also very academically. And this is a book that's well laid out. It looks, when you're reading it, like perhaps a non-academic book, although it is academic. It's just really well laid out. And we'll come to another book in a moment, which is the exact opposite of that. But this is a really helpful book. It's called Reading Revelation Responsibly. I told you he wrote responsibly. This will help you see a number of things that you maybe you've already read in Peterson, but you will find Gorman just adding an extra link of academic support to his arguments. And I really like this book. It's a good book, one definitely to be recommended. I want to just give you a fourth one, because this to me is a fairly new one. I've come across this book since I've last done any work on the book of Revelation. But I really like this. The Blackwell Bible commentaries, or if you like, the Through the Centuries commentaries, go back and highlight what has been believed and said about the book of Revelation back down to maybe the early church and just post then. And for example, he in depth goes into this is written by Judith Kovacs and Christopher Rowland. They indeed go in depth to what Origen writes about the book of Revelation. And I suggest that it might be hard to put your own fingers on that without reading Origen. But these are very helpful people who are bringing out relevant points. And what Origen says about the book of Revelation, I found these very good indeed. But I would not have known that without Judith and Christopher's help. So whereas some of this series I'm not quite so convinced about, this one I definitely am convinced about because it's helpful to me. And I think what you'll go through and you'll find references to big names in history, and you will get the interpretations of those big names rather than of Judith Kovacs and Christopher Rowland's interpretation. So, a good book. Now, what I've done there is I've gone through some books which are not my top three. Inevitably, there are a lot of books on Revelation. I mean, I've got about 24 commentaries on the book of Revelation, but I want to just refer to you 3 commentaries which I think, if you had to nail me down, would be there in the top 4. And then I'll tell you what I believe is the best commentary on the book of Revelation ever. Okay? So, David Awney has written a 3-volume word biblical commentary on Revelation. This is the book that has no attention paid to layout. If you ever wanted to be put asleep just by looking at a page, I would suggest to you the word biblical commentaries have a leaning in that direction. I am not saying they're poor. Actually, in general terms, they're brilliant. They're top of the tree academic commentaries. But this one, which has got 3 volumes, I mean, I've got the second one in my hands, which is over 900 pages long. And you know, the 3 of them really amount to something. Awney has given here a fantastic piece of work, which, as long as you can keep one hand holding one eye open, you'll be able to get to the end of it. It's that the paper is a bit creamy, the fonts are a little bit small. This is not cleverly laid out, like, for example, Michael Gorman's work that I just spoke to you about. This is a book which is just someone's notes typed up and offered you. And I just think when these eventually get reprinted, I think the greatest work that could be done is giving them to a layout expert. And it would be like a breath of fresh air. It would be a new product. But until then, I will continue to use them, because despite the way that they fight my eyelids, they are very, very powerful documents, and they give a lot. I found what Auni has to say about the woman in Revelation 12, I found it to be very helpful, very studious. In fact, almost every page is studious and well supported academically. This is a classic work, one which would support any pastor's library or bookshelf very well. It's a good commentary. The book of Revelation, the revised version in the New International Commentary on the New Testament by Robert Mounce. For those of you who know Robert Mounce or have read his stuff before, you'll know he's a Greek expert. He's always producing blog entries on Greek idiosyncrasies, and his understanding of the language is excellent. I have to say to you that I also find this book to be brilliant. He has a very orthodox view of the book, and he doesn't go for any way out ideas. But I very much like the way that he will summarize as he's going along, so that you can see where his thought process is leading you. And it's a good book, it really is. I'm sure that this is due for a renewal in the range, but until then, this will remain in the top 3 or 4 commentaries that are out there. 430 odd pages, excellent stuff. Now, normally, I think I would wave this at you and you would all say, oh, Steve Redmond does like his New International Greek Testament series. And he does, of course. And this, by G.K. Beale, is an outstanding technical commentary that is absolutely brilliant. There's bits of Greek all over it, but I have to say this is a very understandable presentation. It's got a good layout, very white pages, very dark fonts. It's a very understandable commentary, and it goes into the full depth of what is available from this apocalyptic writing. I have to say to you that I think that this product is, whereas it's very expensive, it is one of the most excellent commentaries on the book of Revelation you'll ever see. So, Word Biblical Commentary, New International Commentary on the New Testament, New International Greek Testament Commentary, these are the top products, and they're absolutely excellent. If you've got those on your bookshelf, you will go a long way. Except there is one that personally I think is better. And this is written by a great commentator, a great theologian, someone who has delivered fabulous works on the Holy Spirit, fabulous works on a number of different theological points. And this is a New Covenant commentary series, and it's Revelation by Gordon Fee. This book is only 330 pages long, but If I only could have one commentary on the book of Revelation, it would be this one. Now, I have to tell you that historically, I had a complete set on cassette tape of Gordon Fee delivering the lectures which became this book, because Gordon Fee has had a long time, a lot of history delivering teaching in particularly in Regent's College, the other side of the Atlantic to me. And Gordon Fee, I think, delivered these lectures so well that I then transferred them to CD, and eventually they have become MP3 files on my hard disk. So when this came out, I was very familiar with its contents already. But when I sat down and read this, this is one of those rare commentaries when you put it down, and you put it down because you've got to sleep, but you don't want to put it down. It's quite engaging. I go so far as to say it's riveting. Again, Gordon Fee is not outlandish in any of his ideas. He is very orthodox. He's very full gospel in his thinking. But he delivers here what is undoubtedly a world-class commentary that I think is the leading commentary in the whole NCCS series, which is a good series. So that is the one I would run out of the office grabbing if there was a fire. This to me is the best commentary I have got on the book of Revelation. So that's all I have to say to you for today. I do hope that it gives you some ideas of what you might want to read, what you might want to do to augment your own library at home or in the office. And I do hope I will have sparked a few ideas amongst maybe ideas of different authors and series that you maybe hadn't thought of before. Please don't forget Austin Farrer. So that's my recommendations for Revelation. And until next time, please remember to subscribe, to click on the bell, and please like something in what I've said today. God bless you. Bye.